this again quote caught my attention, Elouise. It's about the procurement software market. The era of seven-figure procurement software deal is over. I mean, you are very emphatic about that, and you have written that in the book. And then again, this one, today's supply chains run on software that was designed in late 1990s. So ERP was cool, it was new and innovative before 2000, as you mentioned. You started your career back then, but then the business has changed dramatically in that time, and looks like, uh, you know, as you said, the status quo is continuing. So why do you say the era of the seven-figure procurement software deal is over? I mean, I feel it's a bit contrarian.
Well, so what I mean by that is the era where we write one big check to one big vendor, and I think
Okay.
it's important to note that I'm working on another book right now, my next book, and I'm basically tackling ERPs in the same manner, because we have systems, source to pay systems is very much this book. My new book is very much ERP systems. If you actually look at the business environment that has evolved or changed, it's no longer what these systems were designed for. And especially source to contract, where you would just buy, fill in the blank, doesn't matter who, I'm not going to pick on anybody today.
Yeah.
But you can fill in the blank, and the way that tool, you go back to when it was designed, I don't care which tool it was, they've all designed, they all, their origins go back to the 2010s, the mid 2010s. That's the businesses that they were serving back then are not the businesses they're serving today. We have like big corporates just doing major acquisitions and divestitures. You have the rise of private equity companies. You have separations now. You have all kinds of moving pieces in the way businesses operate. And by the way, that all of, let's call it 2000, when we had the sort of rise of globalization. Well, globalization is being challenged right now by all these macro disruptions, not the least of which is political instability. So how can you run a global business the way, with the tools you developed in a different era? You just can't do it. And oh, by the way, the digital technology has changed dramatically. In the 2000s, we didn't have early 2000s, we didn't have smartphones. We didn't really have Amazon or AWS or Azure as we have today. And correspondingly, we didn't have people with the skills we have today. So and that's the short answer. If you take all these things together, how can you just go with one single vendor? It's anachronistic.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's one theme that kept recurring in your book, Elouise, where you say smartphones have proliferated everywhere, and why is procurement software still running out of your laptops and desktops and not seamlessly, on your phone? In fact, you offer a vision, so how it should be. We'll come to that. So next slide, please.
And can I just add, as we go to the next slide?
Sure,
I had a CPO say, "Why isn't there an app for procurement?" Just very simply, why is there not an app for procurement? And I think that's, well, he was joking. I think that there's a lot within that statement of what he's really saying, or what his users are saying, is, why is this not simple? Why can we not just do this and make it less friction or frictionless for the user?